I have a whole variety of fantasy action figures. 80s nostalgia, modern high fantasy, literature-based high fantasy, animated style animals. No, not you, you don't count. But I don't have anything to hit that grim dark vibe. Until now. This is Nin Vilimir from Savage Crucible. In this review, we'll examine every metric of this figure to see if it meets our ultimate test. Is it playable? The Savage Crucible team sent me this figure free of any obligation to review or endorse. But I thought I'd take a break in my busy day and give it a look. It came in this amazing mailer. Every side has a different piece of art on it. It is fantastic. It definitely has the vibes of one of my favorite metal bands, Makavrah. Seriously, I love this band. Go check them out. The link is going to be in the description. I'm talking like 8 strings, drop B. It's fantastic. If you know me, you know how I feel about packages grow up. Usually I just chuck these bad boys out. But in this case, there's a lot to look at, and I actually want to examine them with you. Book cover flap with a window. What is this, NECA? Great for inbox collectors, weirdos. Inside the jacket, jacket like it's a book, you've got a whole dissertation here about who this character is. I'm not going to read it right now, but it's really in-depth and a good bedtime read. On the back of the box is a narrative that explains the brand's namesake. Inserted into the package was a map of Lemuria. This is awesome. You can see all the maps on their website, but the fact that this was included in the packaging was really fun because we got to pour over all the little details and key geography that was on here. Now what's awesome is there was a secret included behind the map that was left there just for me. I'm pretty sure it was from Rob or Tim. Thanks. I love it. Okay, that was just for me. But for everybody else, they've included this D&D compatible character card. This art is just leaping off the card. So I actually opened this from the back first, and I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, I recognize this. Lawful evil, 6 different stats, dex-based saving throws, and charisma. Wait, I know what this is. This is D&D. I play these games. Also, I love cards, like Marvel trading cards. Also, I make games for action figures. I can't help but assume that they made this just for me. I seriously could nerd out for an entire other video just about this, but I'm gonna wait and actually save some of the card stuff for the end of this video, so check it out at the end. Alright, that's enough about all this paraphernalia. Let's actually start talking about some plastic. Oh, and this? I'm keeping this one. This is not going to recycling. All my future Savage Crucible figures are going to be going into this box. But you might be asking, hey, what is Savage Crucible? Well, guess what? Don't be lazy, go to the IG and go check it out. Or you could go onto our channel and go see the other interviews we've done, and we had a game night with some of the creators. You guys want to talk about the action figure now? All right, let's check him out. Plot twist, I'm not the only one who's going to be reviewing this figure. I also recruited my oldest son, T, to actually get a kid's point of view on this toy. Here you go, kid.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
You know me. I'm a huge advocate for actually playing with your toys. We put them through the paces. We get them dirty. Things get broken. Things get lost. But you know what? All of that overrules the fact that it's so much fun to just play with them.
I can't tell, like, what type of lizard, though. It looks like they mixed, like, a raptor.
It especially looks like a raptor when it tilts his head and gives the pretty sure I could eat you expression.
Yeah, it has all these horns, ridges, and like all these indents. It's really cool though.
And speaking of the head, here's its articulation. I wish its mouth could open.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Its teeth are all gnarly. This is really cool. Like, there's all this detail. That's really cool. There's so many scale details. I look. There's they put every single tiny little scale on there.
Yeah.
And then they also shade it with different types of green.
Yeah.
It's like a few pale, like swampy greens. It's really cool.
Not including his armor, Vinny comes with a dagger, the scimitar, 2 open hands, and a potion bottle.
It's not the head up here, the snake's head's down here. And I like the palish purple color.
Yeah,
the metallic purple is really cool.
And there are 3 what's called in the biz holes on the belt for the potion bottle to be able to plug into. But here's where we ran into our first problem with the figure. Apparently Vin here has a bit of a potion problem. At one point Vin was shotgunning him like a college freshman does PBRs. He even started chugging a syrup bottle. The armor on this bad boy is great. Tons of spikes, awesome coloration. It's a little bit soft and pliable, so it doesn't really limit the movement. All right, when it comes to articulation, I'm not going to cover anything basic here. His arm can raise up, it goes out the side, but there are some innovative techniques they use here that I do want to cover, like these pauldrons, for example. They peg into the back and they're pretty soft, so they're able to go up and down here to get out of the way of movement, but also you can bend them back a little bit too, so that doesn't get caught up in it. The pauldron plugs in by one hole in the rear deltoid. And with that out of the way, you can see the butterfly movement here. Look at that swath of motion. Being able to reach across his chest like that allows this figure to do something I've wanted all my fantasy figures to be able to do: hold a sword with 2 hands in front of them. Now the bicep joint is kind of deceiving. It looks like at first it just twists around. There's a forearm twist, and there's the bicep twist. And there's a bend. What? It has a flap that covers up the actual joint. It's called a deceptive joint, patent pending. Here's the only issue with it though. That flap does limit a little bit of the range of motion there. I won't be able to have my favorite blade over the shoulder no daichi pose. This is a parts pop and swap line, so the belt piece here swivels to get out of the way of the leg movements, but also just comes right off, so you can replace it with other attachments later on. The leg's able to kick up high enough to get a good Russian folk dance going. Double jointed knee. I'm not a fan of hand or toe articulation. I think that for someone who plays with the figures, it kind of gets in the way, but if you're posing or taking photographs, I totally understand why you'd want something like this. Some good ball and socket joints there to allow the thighs to... Whoa, hey, this got really personal. I didn't say stop. I do want to say that I wish there were some proper handling instructions included with this figure. It would have helped us avoid certain problems. Tristan, what happened?
Dad, I'm sorry, but he's a reptile, and there was no instructions on how hot they needed the heat lamp, so this happened.
Oh no. Let's just take a second and get a little more comfortable here. Hold on. There we go. And that's how I put on my clothes as well, ripping myself in half. The arm is held on by 2 clasps, 1 on each side. Head pops off, up and over the head.
It's much skinnier than I would expect, but it's really cool skinny.
It's like lean and agile.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Robert E. Howard's Conan is definitely one of the influences to this dark fantasy toy line. And the original Conan wasn't some giant Arnold Schwarzenegger type figure. He was a lean, lithe, agile thief. And as a Sumerian born in the mountains, he was able to use these skills to climb sheer surfaces with little to no holds. Much like our friend Nin here, who I'm sure has a very high dexterity. Returning to the naked lizard, you can see 4 holes here for your attachments. The armor stays on the tail, but it's got multiple segments in it, allowing it to get all sorts of bend. And this video is going to get flagged on YouTube. This is getting really private. There we go, up and down, nice articulation. You get all sorts of hip gyrations going on here with this ball and socket waist. Vin's really good at all these pelvic rotations. Hey, how did you pay for college again, buddy?
I know tomorrow's your wedding, but let's just focus on tonight, baby.
We covered a lot. We went over a lot of details here. Probably a little intrusive for old Nin. Now we need to answer the question, can we play with him? Can we actually incorporate him with all our other action figures and our future adventures?
I think this would be fine to play with. We do need to heat his legs up, that's for sure. I think the only problem playing-wise is how sharp the spikes are. Like, if I tried to move this, I would, cut myself with the spikes.
No children were harmed in playing with this toy. T and I are on the same page. This character's 100%.
What are you gonna be? Perfect! That's right.
Playable. Thanks so much to the Savage Crucible team for sending this figure. I was pleased as punch to get him. After handling Nin, I'm excited to get Wave 1 and Wave 3 in hands and just dive into those figures too. And thank you for sticking through this whole video. As a bonus, if you want to call this bonus content, here's footage of me nerding out over D&D stats. I know the audio is going to be different on this and it's going to kill my soul that I didn't go back and it's not standard, but I really wanted to nerd about this card. I just feel like I needed to talk more about this because I'm such a D&D nerd and such a game nerd, and like I'm just nerding out about this and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it. So let's just break down this card really quick here. So quick stats, he's got an AC or armor class 17. That's how much it takes to hit him out of a D20. So 17 out of a D20. Most players have some modifiers going in there if they're a fighter class especially. And the reason why it's so high is because it's Draconic Male. So it's not due to his dexterity, it's not due to, speed or I don't know, like Nightcrawler's not teleporting away. It's actually, he's just actually very tough. So even if you do hit him, technically the DM would rule that, hey, you hit him, but it glanced off his male there. Lawful evil. So I love this. This is part of your alignment, lawful evil. So these are the guys who are bad, but they follow the rules. They could be honorable. They're kind of like Darth Vader, for example, very lawful evil. Or if you think of a bad paladin, an evil paladin, and that actually aligns in to his draconic oath. An oath of service taken by guards gives advantage on saving throws to remove charmed or frightened. So, this is his oath. So he's loyal to his cause. These aren't guys who are going to backstab each other. They're actually very honorable in their own evil way, which is just, adds to this character. Okay, here's his challenge rating, which is 3. And there's your XP that you get. That I don't know any DMs that actually calculate all the XP per. They usually just kind of like per session or milestones round up. But if they are tracking specifically, there's 700 XP for killing one of these guys. So challenge rating 3, based on an ace, armor class 17 to hit. Saving throws have a +3 for dex, and then his actions, he has a multi-attack plus his tail sweep is an opportunity attack that gives him advantage. If you have a couple of these draconic guards, like let's say you're attacking a mini boss or like lieutenant, and they've got, let's say, 4 draconic guards and it's a party of 4, this could be a bad fight because we were talking about economy of actions, a multi-attack plus attack of opportunity, and he's relatively hard to hit, plus he could have some saving throws in here. This could be a challenge. So quick reference to the monster manual, I picked the UNT, armor class 15, and then challenge 7. Also has a multi-attack, bite, constrict, scimitar, so not the so I would argue that the dragon guys are actually a higher challenge rating. Challenge ratings are kind of, weak sauce anyways. Here we go, challenge rating 3. This guy has an armor class of 12, multi-attack, and doesn't look like any, no opportunity attacks here. So, and then here's a lizard folk, armor class 15, actions, multi-attack, spike shield, challenge rating 1/2. So I mean, again, you can go all over the place here. When they're going to come out with the Paranoids here, they got the Kuatoa, the very Cthulhu Lovecraftian inspired race. So you've got these guys. Man, look at that poor sap just wearing a tunic. Anyways, all right, I could go on and on about this.